Hello, this is Payal Agarwal from Kolkata, India. Namaste. Hello, good evening. Namaste. I'm Payal Agarwal from Kolkata. Welcome to FOMO No More. Yesterday we made the veg biryani, the one pot veg biryani. I got a lot of comments. Thank you for your love. To see the notifications, go and like the page of FOMO No More, and you'll be able to get the notifications of all my live videos. We go live every day at 5 o'clock until the 20th of this month of May. I'll be with you. So first things first, let's get started. Today we are going to make a one pot pasta. Very easy, very nourishing because I'm using whole wheat pasta. A few things that I have pre-prepped for you. So I'll just let you know. Very no cooking involved, but just a little bit of preparation before we start our recipe. So few things that I've done is I have peeled the tomatoes. I have taken 2 large tomatoes. If you've got smaller ones, feel free to take 3, 4. So I have, what I did was I just put it in a glass bowl and I put a little bit of water, dash of water, and I put it in the microwave for a minute. What that does is it becomes nice and soft. So once that happens, you just take the skin off and start and just make a puree out of it. And this is what fresh tomato puree would look like. A few chunks are okay, doesn't really matter. So this is that. And and I've got all my veggies prepped. This I'll keep showing you as we go along. And the drink that we are making today is ginger iced tea, honey iced tea. So for that, this is one prep that is important. What I did was I took a little bit of water, just this much of water, and I heated it up a little bit in the microwave just to warm it up, and then I put a tea bag. This is Darjeeling tea. Darjeeling is a small town in West Bengal, India, and it grows fantastic fragrant tea. So I just dipped this and I kept it so that it kind of seeps into the water and we get nice liquor. So this is what I have done and kept. The rest is basically all very basic. We are going to use very basic ingredients. So okay, let's get started. So first things first, heat is on. Okay, so now first we make the tomato concasse. Now let me tell you a little bit about that. It's the tomato puree which we use, and then we use garlic, and we use fresh basil leaves. I have a small plant in the house. You can buy it in the stores, very readily available, fresh basil leaves, and a lot of garlic, a little bit of dried red chili flakes, again readily available in the market. Or what you can do is, if you've got whole red chilies, dried chilies, just roast it like I showed you yesterday, dry roast it in the pan and yank it up in the blender so it becomes like a powder. And this is of course dried oregano. Okay, so now this concasse that we are making, again my friendly oil can. Okay, so oil goes in first, so we just take like 2 spoons of oil and let it not heat up too much. So what we do is, first, before it starts heating up, we just put the garlic, and the gas is on really low flame, as low as it can go, because we don't want the garlic to burn. We want it to just about roast in the oil and give out its flavor, so that the oil also gets flavored. Again, anything that will get burnt will start tasting bitter. And if if it cooks in the oil like this, if you throw it in the cold oil and it heats up with the oil, what happens is it becomes nice and soft and mushy and sweet. So it gives out a beautiful garlic flavor. So little bit it started sizzling now, if you can see, little bit is happening. At this point, we put in the fresh tomato puree. Now this tends to dance a lot in the pan. So what we do is we just put this, give it a nice stir, mix it up. This I'll keep here because I need to take it. I need to take out the concasse once it's done, and then we'll do the rest of the recipe. So this, what we do is we yank it up. The heat should be as high as it can be. Give it a good stir. So it's all mixed. The garlic and the tomato puree is all mixed now. At this point, again, hello to my masala box. So at this point we put in a little bit of salt, not much. As I told you, we have to put salt in stages. So a little bit of salt so that it starts cooking. Okay. So now it's absolutely on high. The flame is as high as it can go, and we cover it and let it keep on in the high heat. So once that is, it's very hot today. It rained at 4 in the morning, and it's become suddenly again so sunny and hot in Calcutta. So this will be nice, a light dinner for us today. Okay, so now one more thing. What I normally use is always whole wheat pasta. So today I have whole wheat pasta. You can use any, you can use penne, you can use spaghetti, you can use whichever pasta. You can use the one which is bought in packets like I am using today, or you can make your fresh pasta also if anybody knows how to do that. I am not very confident in making the fresh pasta, so I generally use this, but of course you can go ahead and make your own pasta and use that. That is lovely too. And nowadays you get a lot of nice pastas. This is whole wheat. You get quinoa pasta, you get with lentils and semolina, you get with durum wheat. So you can use any. I recommend just try avoiding the flour, the white flour pasta as much as you can. It's it sits inside you, not very good to eat at night. Whole wheat, semolina, quinoa, all these grains are fantastic, and so you can use this. So now that this is sizzling away, should we take a good peek? So what you do is first turn the gas to absolutely low so that it stops jumping around. Yeah, so see now what has happened is, I'll show you. It is jumping around a bit, but the oil is separating from the mixture. Yeah, so the oil is getting separated from the mixture. You can see the oil bits here. So this is almost done. This is how we need it at the moment. So we transfer it in a bowl, and I'll keep it. I'll tell you when to add this to the recipe. We transfer it in a bowl and we keep it. Okay, now we take the same pan. Again, turn the gas to high, and this time we just take 1 small spoon of oil. Quickly take the spoon of oil and start adding all our veggies. So I have taken sliced onions that I am adding. I've got all sorts of pepper. I've got nice yellow sweet pepper here. Bell peppers, I'm taking that. I'm taking the red ones. I'll tell you a very interesting fact about peppers. So there are 2 types of peppers. This is the green one, so I'm taking. They are all sliced, if you can see. So, green. Now I'll tell you a very interesting fact about peppers. Peppers are 2 types. So male and female, if you can believe that. The bump of the pepper, when you take a whole pepper, you'll see the bump of the pepper. Some of them have 4 bumps and some of them have 3. So the one with the 4 bumps is the male and the one with the 3 bumps is female. So the female pepper is better to use, it's sweeter, so it's better to use for salads, raw, or just a quick stir fry, so it's better for that. And for heavy cooking, the 4 bumps are better because they are not as sweet. The female ones are sweeter. Okay. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just sharing a fact with you. Okay. So we start stirring. The gas is on high, and just let the veggies sweat it out a little bit. Okay, at this stage again we add a little bit of salt to let the moisture come out nicely. Now once that is happening, now what we do is we push this to a side and let it do its thing, and we put in mushrooms. So today I have taken button mushrooms, washed it. Wash it well under running water. Mushrooms have a lot of dirt in them because they are a fungi and they grow very close to the earth. So they have a lot of mud particles. So wash it, rinse it nicely under running water, and never leave mushrooms seeped into the water because it draws in a lot of moisture and it becomes soggy. It doesn't taste good when you're cooking it. So just wash it under running water and slice it. So that goes in now. Mushrooms don't take very long to cook, so I put it at the end. Give it a stir, mix it with the rest of the vegetables. Now since there was a little bit of salt in this, what you'll see is, and in India there are a lot of people who don't eat mushrooms. So if you don't eat mushrooms, please avoid it. You can use anything else that you want to. Broccoli is very good. I couldn't lay my hands on broccoli. It's not the season. In India, it's very hot now. We get broccoli during the winters. And it's always, I suggest, please eat seasonal vegetables. Seasonal vegetables are the ones which have the most. So turn the gas on a low and let it now just sit there for a bit. Yeah. So now I'll tell you about the seasonal vegetables. So what happens is, if you're using a seasonal vegetable, they have a lot more nutrients because the nature has made it like that for us. So in India, because we are a tropical country and it's very hot in the summer, so we get a lot of vegetables which are full of water. The water content is very high. So like we get bottle gourd, we get rich gourd, so that's ghiya, we get tori. Bottle gourd is ghiya and rich gourd is tori. And these vegetables are always the ones which will... sorry, it got disconnected. I don't know how. Sorry. Okay, I didn't do much. Nothing happened while we were disconnected. This is still cooking away and I was still talking away. Didn't know what happened. So I'll resume my topic on seasonal vegetables. Yeah. So it's made like that, and during the winters in India we get a lot of cauliflower, which needs a little, it's a robust vegetable, so we need a little more oil to cook it. We get nice new potatoes which are nice and crisp, and we can make nice fries out of that. So seasonal vegetables are always the nicer vegetables to eat. Try avoiding anything which is non-seasonal. It will have no nutrients really. There is no nutritional value in them because they won't be naturally grown, obviously, because it's not feasible at that time to grow that vegetable, so it's artificially grown. So avoid that. So now see, it's all sweating. See the colors? Pretty. And it's all softened now. So at this point, again, what we do is now we add all the masala. So we add the oregano. Go by a little bit of the oregano. I like my food spicy and my family likes it spicy, as I told you. So I'm adding the entire 1 full spoon of heaped spoon of chili flakes, if you can imagine, and give it a mix. At this point, friends, what we do is we add a little bit of sugar, to cut down the tartness of the tomatoes, and so it's just a small half a teaspoon. See the teaspoon, so I'm just putting half. I'm not putting too much. You don't need to be overtly sweet, but you just need that little bit of sweetness. And of course, pepper, black pepper. So a little bit of that, just a dash. That's it. This is done. Stir, stir, stir. Now the concasse that we had made, the tomato, that goes in again. Turn the heat to low, let it not spit on you. Okay, that is done. So once that is done, give it a good mix. The heat is absolutely on a low so that it doesn't get angry at us, the tomatoes. So that is that. Now we cover it. We cover it for a bit. And as I told you, clean. So keep cleaning as you go. We don't want a dirty surface when we are cooking. So I'm cleaning as we are going. And so that is done. And now what we do is we just wait for just 2 minutes. And I hope a lot of young people are joining me. Turn on the notification on FOMO NOMO page so that you can cook along with me. Like the page so you'll get notifications on what we are doing. There are very interesting things happening. So, after I cook, you can dance for a bit and you can meditate for a bit, and after that you can eat your dinner. Perfect. With FOMO NOMO, it will be fantastic. So now while this is happening, I think it's around a minute or so. So another minute to go for that. This concasse that I showed you, see, this is a very versatile sauce. So what we do is with the concasse, you do the tomato bit, you put your seasoning, you put your salt, pepper, oregano, you put your sugar, and that sauce you can make in bulk again, as I told you, and you can keep it away. It doesn't go bad for at least a week in the fridge. And this is what we use for everything. We can put it on pizzas if you are making pizzas at home. We can use it for moussaka, any Italian dish that you're making. Pasta, of course, we are using it, and it's a very versatile sauce. So go ahead and make a bit. Life becomes easier if you have it at hand. So make little bit and keep it for yourself and keep using it. Okay. So now see, as you can see, very well done. The sauce is all done, amalgamated. It's not spitting, so that is the sign that it's properly cooked. So if there is a lot of moisture or water in the sauce, it keeps boiling furiously and jumping out of the pan. So once it's settled down, that means there is no more moisture, so it's cooked properly now. At this stage we put in the pasta. If you're using fresh pasta, please don't put it now, because that hardly takes like a minute or so to cook. This will take around 5 minutes or so. So again, turning the gas up on a high and putting water. Now see, what we do is, now it's a trial and error thing. So we put a glass in now, and water should be enough that the pasta is all dunked into the water. Nothing is like peeping out or floating on top. Yeah, everything is inside under the water. So they are not swimming, they are all drowned. So that is what I have done. And you put it on and you leave it on high, cover it, and let it sit for 2-3 minutes, and then we'll see how it's going, and then we'll adjust accordingly. If we need more water, we'll put more water. Okay, so now what we do is, the drink that I told you, that's the tea that I had made, which I showed you. Now I take my tipsy glass again, which cannot stand straight. Okay, so that's my glass. Can you see it if I put it here? I think you can. No? Okay, so I'll hold it up for you. So now what I do is this, I just kind of pour it in, because the back kind of tore, I think. I don't know what happened. Little bit of the tea leaves came out. So I'm just sieving it in. So take that. And if you like a lot of ice, please go ahead and put as much ice as you want to. Now it's been through 3 minutes. I'm putting the gas on a low. So let it simmer away. Okay. And honey, a good dash of honey we put. You make it as sweet as you want or as less sweet as you want. I like it very, very sweet. So I'm dunking in a lot of honey. Okay. And now what I did was, ginger, fresh ginger. I grated this, and it's almost like a mince. If you can see, it's almost like a mince. So I took this cute little grater of mine, which is a ginger grater, which is a spice grater. Cute little thing, small baby. So I grated it with this. So it becomes almost like a mince. It's not like big, slices or shards of it, because that will not be very nice when you chew. This will be fragrant, and it won't, you can just put it down. And it's very, very good for you. Ginger, again, it's one of the most potent anti-inflammatories, anti-infection, anti-congestion. If you have any kind of slight cold or congestion, or if you feel, that your chest is heavy because you have that slight annoying cold, just have, take a square inch of ginger, pound it like I pounded it yesterday in my Meta and Posel, and just dunk it in water. And boil the water, keep boiling it. So 1 cup of water becomes half, it becomes a half cup of water, and then you sieve it, and you have that water. Put a little honey. Again, honey is, it gives you a lot of energy. It is an anti-inflammatory, and it helps you with your cold and your congestion. So that's why we have those honey drops when you have a congestion. So natural honey is the best, right? This is like the drops, the same ingredients. You have ginger, you have honey, and these are the two main ingredients which will decongest you. So please go ahead and make that and try it, it will help. Okay, so you mix that, the honey and the tea, and at this point, put in the ginger. So when you put in the ginger, it starts perfuming the tea. And because it's still a little warm, the tea water, so it will perfume it perfectly. It will just, so we'll let that sit for some time, and we'll check on the pasta now. See, it's cooking away, boiling away nicely. And now it's, we want the pasta to be al dente, as they say. You don't want it to be a mush. So you don't want it overcooking. And you want it to be a little saucy, because remember, when you leave the pasta in the pot like that, it does drink up a lot of water, because this is dried pasta. So it needs to rehydrate, it needs to boil, it needs to get its life back. So it takes time, and it does drink up a lot of moisture. So see, at this point you can see there is not much. So I just put a tad bit more of water. Saucy is better than absolutely dry. So little bit more of water, turn the heat up, let it boil back again. And as I told you, keep checking your food for seasoning. Every person who's making food should be checking for seasoning always. So I take a little bit of the water, I've put in the spoon, and let me taste. Let me see whether the seasoning is right. We don't want it very salty. That's why I put salt in stages, because if you put in the salt, it's done. So put salt in stages, so it helps the food to cook properly also in stages, and it helps you to not over salt your food, which is not a very good thing to do. Yeah, I hope everybody can. Hi, hello everyone. I'm remembering my niece. She's too fond of pasta. Salt. Okay. So now the final seasoning. I put in the salt. I could do with a little bit more of pepper, but I think I'll avoid it. Why make it extra spicy also? Right. Oh, the flavors are nice. The garlic, the tomatoes, the fresh tomato puree, you cannot compare. Store-bought ones are too tart. Like, I don't know what they do to it. They make it so tart that you have to dunk so much of sugar in it to balance it out, that it really doesn't give you that tomatoey taste. And that is what you want. Turn it up to a high again. Medium high, not very high. Medium high. Let it keep cooking. So the tomato puree I was talking about. So if you take store-bought tomato puree, it is very readily available and everywhere in the world, and you can use it if you don't have a choice. but fresh tomatoes are even more readily available. So please, take that little bit time out and make this concasse and keep. This is something you can use in a lot of recipes. As I told you, it doesn't go bad for at least a week. So keep it there and try and use this and avoid store-bought tomato puree. It has a lot of preservatives and it has a lot of chemical agents which we don't want going inside our bodies. We as it is, are breathing in so much of toxins which are already present in the air. Oh, and by the way, it has cleared in India at least. I'll tell you a magical thing has happened. I think all over the world with the ozone layer repairing itself and the air is cleaner. So there are good things coming. Of course, it's a very difficult time. There's no doubt about that. We are all in a very precarious kind of a situation. But we should always see the upside, So the upside is that the air is cleaner. And I could see stars in the evening in the sky in Calcutta, which is a rare, so I have not seen it in years. And there is a huge, beautiful tree outside my window. And it used to be full of parrots, 10 years back, and they had stopped coming and I stopped seeing them. I used to speak to them, say hi. And they had stopped coming and they stopped, I couldn't spot them anymore. And suddenly a week back, I see an entire, this thing of a family of parrots, and it was so beautiful, I can't tell you. Green ones, bright red, they're so beautiful, And I saw a whole lot of parrots, so I think, a whole lot of birds are coming back. And let's keep it that way. Let's not use the car when we can walk it. Let's not switch on the air conditioning when we don't really need it. Enjoy the fresh air. Let's be conscious about when we are switching on the lights, and be sure if you're leaving a room, switch it off. So let's be conscious about these things and let's make it a nicer place to stay. Again, back to the food. So I have turned the gas to the low again, and let's check again. See, this is all trial and error. So you have to keep checking your food, of course. And now we'll see if the pasta is almost done or not. So we take a piece, put it on a spoon, and you just take a knife and you try and cut it through. Okay, so this is my pasta, so try and cut it through. See, it went into the pasta and it's come out nice and clean. Easily you could have cut it, but it is still a bit of bite is there, and that's exactly what we want. So now, and there's quite a bit of moisture how we need it. So we cover this, and like all one pot recipes, switch it off, don't touch the lid, let it sit there. So now we'll open it after 5 minutes and we'll taste the pasta. Yippee! Okay, so while that is happening, and I'll tell you when to put the milk. So we are making a pink pasta today. This is your red done, okay? Your sauce is done and it's ready to go. If you don't want the milk, please avoid it. But today I'll put a little bit of milk or cream, whatever you have at hand. But you have to let it sit for at least 5 minutes, and then we'll put the milk, because we can't put. And remember one thing more: whenever you're using milk, if you're making a bechamel, or if you're using milk in anything, remember to use cold milk. Cold milk. Again, warm milk or hot milk has a tendency to split and curdle, so we don't want that. We want the milk to make our food nice and creamy. So we just wait for, and since the pan is really hot, we wait for it to just settle down for 2 minutes, and then we put the cold milk in. So there's no chance of it curdling, there's no chance of it splitting, and it will be nice and creamy and ready to eat. Okay, now I'll show you one thing which I love. This is what is one of the main things for any Italian sauce. So this is fresh basil. I have a sweet little plant, a small little plant on my in my house on the window. Very easily grown at home, and doesn't need too much of care, and it's yummy, and it so fragrant. So at this point now, it's been like a minute or so. It's not piping hot anymore. So we just open it up. This is the cold milk. If you can just see, I've taken a bit much. We don't need this much. So half of that goes in. And so half of that I used. Rest you keep. And basil, please remember not to keep chopping it. So just roll it in your hands like that. All the leaves. I've taken around 5 leaves. So you roll it like that. Use the tip of your fingers and just break it. Break it. So it releases all the aroma and the natural oils of the leaf. And you just break it and you sprinkle it all around. And now cover it and let it be. Okay. Now to our drink. So if you like ice, as I told you, please go ahead and top it up with ice. I think today is very hot. I don't mind a bit of ice also. Should I just get it? Give me a second. That's my fridge. And ice. So we put little ice. Going. Okay. Ice. Little bit, not too much. You know, it rained so badly last night, so I don't want my throat kind of. Yeah. So the ice is done, and now you can just, as I told you, keep tasting. So just see if it's sweet enough for you. Remember, it should be a little sweeter than what you like because we are going to put a lot of water in. Yeah, sweet enough. So now we put a lot of water, top it up. Just see how beautiful the colors are. Nice? Give it a good stir. See how pretty it's looking. Cheers. Okay, so that kept aside. Now it's been a good 3-4 minutes. Ta-da! Cheese. Makes everything better. So I love cheese. I can put cheese in anything, but this requires it. Important. And if you have parmesan, please use parmesan. And I couldn't lay my hands on it today, so I'm just using normal processed cheese, which I had readily available at home. And serve it as it is. See how pretty it's looking. It's all ready to go. But I'm going to just plate it up and taste and show you how it's tasting. So give it a mix. There you go. So the residual heat of the pan kind of melts the cheese. And then and it gives it that nice creamy cheesy flavor because we have already put milk. And you know the good part about this was we did not use any thickening agent. Oh, I didn't tell you about that. That's another thing. So we didn't use any thickening agent. Otherwise, normally if we use, if you're making a bechamel or something, we put flour, right? Why we didn't use any kind of thickening agent in this was because the pasta has a lot of starch. So once you're cooking it in the same pot, it gives out its starch and that kind of combines and holds everything together. And normally also if you're making it only in white sauce, so what you do is you always keep back like a glass or half a glass worth of the pasta water. At the end, when you're wanting to amalgamate everything and get everything married to each other, if you put that water in again, it kind of combines everything. So now for the chef. As I told you, chef should always be happy to eat his own food. Yum, yum, yum. Nice and piping hot. So should I just give it a taste? Okay. I hope all the people who say that I don't like how to cook, I don't know how to cook, it's difficult, oh, I've never cooked before, please give it a try. See how easy it is. It's not taking away. We are chatting and we are having a good time. And today I'm sweating, but it's done already and you're ready to go. How long did it take? So if you take a pasta packet also, it would take this much time and it won't be 1/10 as tasty. So let's give it a try. Yeah? Perfect. Perfect. This is how you want your pasta. El dente, as I said, it should have a bite to it. It should not die in the pan. And it's done. So this is what we are serving for dinner tonight. My husband should be back. He is started going to his workplace. So waiting for him, and we'll eat together. Let's eat together. And tomorrow I'll see you again, same time, same place. Namaste.